If you want to see amazing and exciting duels, informative and entertaining top 10 lists, and everything else that's just great about the game of Yu-Gi-Oh, you gotta watch the Capital G show. Shout out to my homeboy Dante. Hey. What's up YouTube, Capital G here, looking at a new card from Dimension of Chaos, and it looks like it is Fluffle support or Frightfur support. I mean, those two, like, they're intertwined because Fluffles are, you know, the regular monsters and then Frightfurs are the boss monsters. Now, personally, I kind of like Fluffles and Frightfur because, you know, first off, I like the artwork of the archetype, and me kind of looking at the archetype from outside, I didn't really know the deck was so explosive. I didn't know the deck could be completely OTK centric, like it could consistently OTK. You never really want to go first with Fluffles, but it's a really cool and it's a really fun deck to play. I played it on stream. If you guys ever see my stream, there's a good chance that I'll run into somebody playing against Fluffles. When I looked at the artwork of this card, and it's called Frightfur March, it's really cool. It's not only just colorful, but it kind of reminds me of the Wizard of Oz. Like, you have a brick road, you've got a bear walking down it. It's, you know, you have a whole bunch of animals walking down a brick road. I was like, is this the Wizard of Oz? It looks really, really neat to me. So anyways, this is called Death Toy March, which there is 0% chance that will be the TCG name. It'll be Frightfur March. You know, Konami doesn't like to put death in any of the card names in the TCG. So it's a counter trap, which it makes sense to me because if I look at Fluffles as a deck, I'm like, all right, you have a lot of good fusions. Don't get me wrong, especially the Tiger. The Tiger is amazing. And you have a good amount of ways of special summoning those fusions, but you don't really have a way of protecting them, or like you don't really have any recovery options. If you like don't really win that turn or your monsters like die or something, you just kind of get wrecked. So this card could be a solution to that. You're not always gonna OTK your opponent on your first turn, so you know, running a trap doesn't necessarily mean, oh my god, it's bad. It conflicts with the OTK aspect of the deck. I mean, maybe you might want to make your deck so that it can sustain multiple turns. So anyways, it's a counter trap. It says when a Frightfur monster or monsters you control is targeted by an opponent's monster effect or spell or trap, negate that activation, and if you do destroy it, then you can apply the following effect. Send one of the targeted Frightfur monsters or monster to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon one level 8 or higher Frightfur fusion monster from your extra deck. This is treated as a fusion summon, but banish it during the next end phase. So at first I was like, okay, that's cool. It gives you protection from targeting effects, and I was like, all right, well, what good targeting effects do we see in the game right now? You've got Effect Veiler, and personally, I don't know if you guys have ever had Frightfur Tiger summoned on you, but I am always willing to use a breakthrough skill or an effect veiler on that card. So that's like an automatic card that you'll probably be using this against. Book of Moon, Ring of Destruction, Compulse Evacuation Device is fantastic because you run a fusion deck. So it's a card that people are never going to side out against you. So that's another card that's live. And then there's always the battle traps like Dimensional Prison. So there are like a good amount of cards that you can use this against. Now, the second effect, and at first I was like, oh, the second effect sucks. Like, why would I ever want to give up a monster on my field just to get a new monster when I'm going to lose it during my next end phase? But first off, it's completely optional. Having options is always a good thing. So that's just dumb, Capital G being dumb. But second, if you look at one of the new cards, and I didn't actually initially know about this card, but people were bringing it up. I'm going to assume that this was either used in the manga or the anime. This looks like the anime, so I'm going to assume this was used in Arc 5, but this is a Fluffle. It's obviously level 8, 2400 attack, 2000 defense. The main reason you want to use this, or actually it's a Frightfur, sorry. This is Frightfur Saber Tiger, and I was like, whoa, there's 2 Frightfur Tigers? So anyways, the effect on this card is crazy. If this card is Fusion Summon, which this guy, or this second effect of Frightfur March counts as a fusion summon, so you will meet that condition. You can target one Frightfur monster in your graveyard, any of them. You can special summon it, ignoring its special summon conditions, which is always good. All Frightfur monsters you control gain 400 attack for each Frightfur and Fluffle monster you control. A fusion monster that is used as a fusion material cannot be destroyed by a card or destroyed by blank effects. So I'm not really sure what the blank is or what, but look, all you really need to know is this card, if it comes to the TCG, or I guess I'll say when it comes to the TCG, essentially makes this card like a ridiculous, like it makes the play ridiculous, because let's say that you have on the field Frightfur Bear or Frightfur like Wolf, you know, like maybe you have the tiger on the field and you activate this card. Okay, well, all you have to do is get your Saber Tiger. When you summon Saber Tiger, you trigger the effect and you get the monster that you distributed, you get it right back to the field. So it's like you didn't go neg at all. You didn't even get a 1-for-1. You ended up getting a +1, but it gets even better considering that this guy gives each Fluffle monster or Frightfur monster 400 attack. This dude's instantly going to jump up to he's going to instantly jump up to 3200 minimum, because you're gonna summon him and then you're gonna summon the Fluffle you distributed or the Frightfur you distributed. So it's like he's automatically gonna be 32. Whoever he summons is gonna get an 800 attack boost. That's legitimate battle damage. And actually, you don't even need technically you don't even need an extra deck monster, because there is this one right here, the Frightfur Lord. How do you pronounce that? I don't know, but all you need to know is this card always counts as a Frightfur card. So you could actually have this guy get like Enemy Controllered or Book of Moon or something like that, and you can totally trigger it, and then you could summon Saber Tiger. Then you could immediately get, you know, a fusion that died earlier in the game. Again, they're both going to have 50, or they're both going to come out with 800 attack more, and I mean it's legitimate. So I think that this card could be probably a 1 or 2 of. It depends on how your deck is and like how OTK centric and focused your deck is, but the card is not gonna, like, it's not gonna be the nuts until we get this card, Frightfur Saber Tiger. Like if this card has this effect or an effect similar to this, it makes this card completely insane, because as soon as you summon it, you just get the monster right back, and doesn't even matter if it gets banished during the end phase. The attack that you gained, like, that's a lot of damage you can do that turn. So if your opponent doesn't respond to it, I mean, you could be putting like potentially 6,000 in one battle phase, like 6,000 damage in one battle phase. So let me know what you guys think. I think that this is kind of what Frightfuls or Frightfurs and Fluffles probably needed. And honestly, I give Konami kudos, because in the last maybe 2 or 3 years, or probably 2 years, it seems like they're just giving every deck, you know, a generic Shadow Fusion, a generic like Infernity Barrier. I would say maybe the last 18 months. And even though this is a counter trap, it's like, oh my goodness, it's not just Infernity Barrier. It's not, oh, activate it when you control a Fluffle, you know, destroy and negate a monster effect, spell or trap. You know what I mean? It actually, they put some thought into it. They made it significantly different than the rest of the cards. It's not like Yosin Secret Move or Alpha Nova or the Zephyr counter trap or something like that. So anyways, thank you guys for watching as always.